Hello, and welcome to this first edition of a video podcast from the Barbican Wine Society. We're a group of Barbican residents who certainly wouldn't consider ourselves wine experts, but we do have one thing in common, and that's a passion for wine. And we thought it would be a great idea if we shared our views with our fellow Barbican residents on some of the wines we've been drinking lately, along with showing you some of the great places we've visited in our quest for great wine. And we'll be doing that through having a regular feature in Barbican Life, as well as by having these video podcasts. My name's James, and I'm a relative newbie to the Barbican, having lived in the Barbican for just over 3 years. But I'm joined here today by my friend Nick, who's more of a Barbican veteran, having been in the Barbican for over 8 years. So Nick, where are we today?
Well, James, we are in the glorious Sussex countryside at the vineyard estate of Leonardslee. Very conveniently, we jumped on the Thameslink service to Ocean Station, and then from the station it was only 3 miles to come to the vineyard estate of Leonardslee. Amazingly, we discovered this fantastic, idyllic place full of beautiful news and scenery and wine culture, along with so many activities: golf, history, cuisine, and guided by Adam, who is here teaching us the best thing to do.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you for coming, and thank you for having me. So welcome all to Leonardslee. So we are a family-owned wine estate run by the amazing Penny Streeter OBE. Now, Penny as an owner she's got quite the story. She wasn't all plain sailing for her, and it certainly wasn't born into riches. She was originally born in Zimbabwe by South African parents and moved to the Sussex countryside when she was very young. She made a name for herself in the recruitment industry, and she'd actually started up 2 versions of a recruitment company, and unfortunately both of those had gone bankrupt, and as the second one went bankrupt, she was actually declared homeless at one stage. It was in 2011 where she had moved back over to South Africa, where she first got into the wine industry with a vineyard over there called Benguela Cove, situated right on the coastline next to the idyllic town of Hermanus. She managed to turn what was a wine farm, growing grapes to sell on to other producers, into one of the vineyards that's recently been named in the top 100 in the world. So that's where she learned her hand within the wine industry, and she's brought that passion here to the UK today, and we introduced to you Leonardslee Family Vineyards. But if you'd like, we can take a little journey up to the vineyards. We can show you the vines and show you what we've got to offer.
I've seen some vineyards actually have, some fires burning to try and ward off the frost. Have you thought of that?
Yeah, we have, and we've actually got in some of the areas where the fans won't deal with. We do have some lanterns and sort of tea candles positioned in and amongst the vines, and what that does is just keeps the ground temperature slightly above freezing. Follow me, the tasting room's just in here. We will try some of our wines. First up, we've got our Blanc de Blanc from 2020. So this was our maiden harvest, so 100% Chardonnay from a very good vintage in the English wine industry history. And this is our sort of signature wine. So Blanc de Blanc, as I said, mostly all Chardonnay, and that is our grape variety that we have the highest planting of here over in our vineyards. And it's the wine that we're most proud of. So it spent 36 months aging in the bottle to give it that little bit more texture, that little bit more richness and character.
The flavor is so remarkable. And also, it's I would say it's a very versatile wine, because you can combine this great glass of wine with anything. It can be a celebration,
Absolutely.
can be a day out in the garden, or even a fantastic afternoon tea.
Yeah, I'd say this is a real zingy wine. So you get a real hit. It's quite almost a bit like, whilst it's all Chardonnay, it's almost a bit like a sort of Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
Kind of
Yeah.
sword-like.
I know what you mean.
Hits you,
definitely.
so it's really refreshing. So I think on a nice summer's day,
Yes.
you know, this would really be, you know, cool you down, refreshing, perk you up.
So moving on to our second wine, and here we have what is known as our sort of house style, so our Brut Reserve. So this is the first of two blends. Again, predominantly Chardonnay, because that's what we're most proud of and that's what shines best in our vineyards. So 70%, 20% Pinot Noir and 10% Pinot Meunier. Now this will have a little bit more texture to it, but it should feel fresher, lighter, with more of those sort of green apples, citrus fruit flavors.
This is something that I will combine with food. On a relaxing brunch on a Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
And yeah, you're right, possibly something tasty, fish, raw fish, nothing extravagant, you know, something normal, affordable, but a quality wine requires very quality, tasty food as well.
Yeah.
Might be sacrilege, but I could almost imagine having fish and chips with this.
That's
absolutely.
With tartar sauce, imagine the contrast of the strength of tartar sauce with a great, tasty, fresh.
So moving on to the final of the three, which is our Brut Rosé. Now this is a wine that is definitely one of a kind here in the UK. So as I touched on earlier, Penny and her family have roots to South Africa, and we've also got a vineyard over there as well called Benguela Cove. And one way that we've managed to tie together our two English properties here in the UK, as well as our property in South Africa, is by planting a South African grape variety called Pinotage. So we are the UK's first ever planting of Pinotage, probably for a very long time. As Pinotage is a grape variety that needs a lot of sunlight and warmth all year round in order to grow fully. We've got 8 rows of Pinotage currently on our estate, and 10% of this wine includes Pinotage. Predominantly Chardonnay again, so this is 51% Chardonnay. 36% of this wine is Pinot Noir, which is what gives it that fruity red berry flavour. 3% is Pinot Meunier, and then the 10% is Pinotage.
And has it been a nightmare trying to grow the Pinotage?
Has its good days and bad days. We're under no illusion that growing Pinotage here in a cool climate region is tricky.
I have to say it's got an amazing bouquet.
Yes.
It's really quite unique.
You still get those yeasty characters from that bottle aging, so it's had the same amount of bottle aging as what the Brut Reserve has, that 30 months. There's no oak in this time though, that's the main difference. This is all stainless steel fermented to preserve those fruity characters.
And a bit lighter than the others, I can see that.
Yeah, it's just got that freshness that runs through it. It's developed really well in the bottle for the last 10 months that we've released the wines. This is really just done very well for itself.
Less bubbles, more consistent.
Yes, absolutely. Really light, fine bubbles, and that's what we're trying to do with all 3 of these.
And the beauty is to read on the far hand, on the bottom of the label, Sussex, England, which is remarkable achievement.
Yes.
Fantastic outcome. For very, very long and tedious hard work.
And in a few years, we're going to beat the French, aren't we?
That's the plan.
So we've had an absolutely fantastic day here down at the Leonardslee Wine Estate. If anyone from the Barbican does want to come down to Leonardslee, I've just asked Adam what actually are the experiences that you can have at the estate here.
Yeah, so we've got a wide range of experiences with both our South African and our English wine brands. You can do everything from a vineyard tour and tasting, all to tours and tastings that include things like afternoon teas, dinners and brunches. Or then one of our most popular experiences, our full-day Leonardslee Ultimate experience, which incorporates everything from tours, foods, overnight stays, and is a real great value experience to be had. And what we can do as well for any residents of the Barbican that do want to come down, we will put a discount code in the link along with the details of how to book that itself as well.
If you do want to come down to Leonardslee, the wine estate is linked with Leonardslee Lake and Gardens, and whilst it's all part of the same family, it is possible to go with the full experience to the Lake and Gardens resort. And I think they actually have wallabies there, Adam?
They do, yes. They've got everything from acres of ancient woodland gardens, 7 different lakes, a Michelin-starred restaurant and a wallaby enclosure. So it is fun for all the family, as they say.
This remains for Nick and myself to thank Adam for a fabulous day.
Thank you, Adam.
Absolute pleasure.
It was great, and to learn so much on wine, and especially the very top golden tradition of the new English wine that we can taste, toast and celebrate in Sussex countryside.
It was a pleasure having you both.
And stay tuned for the next episode.